So we've been working on figurative language, right? And we have all of these that we've been doing, so hyperbole, simile, metaphor, alliteration, onomatopoeia, personification, right? So we're going to move on to idioms today. Has anyone heard of an idiom?
No.
Idiom.
Yeah.
Yeah? Do you have an example you can give me?
Every time when I hit the hay, I do that.
Hit the hay. Perfect. That was awesome. Or it's raining cats and dogs. So on its own, right? Like hit the hay. You know, that doesn't mean, oh, I'm gonna fall asleep. But as an idiom, right, it means something different than those words on their own. All right. So we're gonna talk about idiom a little bit today. Okay. So I'm gonna give us some worksheets, and you're gonna pay attention and follow along. Okay. So it's gonna be fill in the blanks. So make sure we have pencils out. Yeah, pen. You're ready to go. Okay. We need to be doing before we get any further. All right. You good? You're automatically good. Okay. Good. And then Ellen, yours is ready to go? Oh, your loop's broken today? So we're gonna get that fixed, right? Your loop, it's broken right now? This one that you wear around your neck, it's broken? You have to get that fixed, right? Okay. All right. Okay, so we're with idioms. All right. So, idioms. So idioms exist in every language. Did you guys know that? There might be some in Spanish. I'm not sure of. Does anyone know of ones in Spanish? Some idioms, kind of some phrases that they don't really make sense on their own, but as an idiom as a whole, they mean something. No? Okay. We can be thinking. Let me know if you think of one by the end of the lesson, okay? All right. So, and they should not be taken literally, right? So, every time you see an underlined word, you're going to fill in your blank. So, they exist in every language. So, go ahead and fill that in. All right, so we remind ourselves they exist in every language, not just English. But today we're going to be focusing on English. All right, so they're not to be taken literally, right? We're focusing on figurative language, which is the opposite of literal language. All right, so it's a type of figurative language. So that's your next blank you're going to be filling in, right? So all of these are types, and then we're just adding to this list, right? We're going to have that assessment at the end on all of these types, okay? All right, idioms are conversational. They're not usually in written or formal English, right? In an essay you're going to write for Ms. Gerard's ELD class, you're probably not going to throw an idiom in there. It's more like a figure of speech, right? That makes conversation interesting. So conversation is between just yourself or whom? What's conversation usually?
With the person.
Yeah, with another person. Perfect. So an expression that cannot be understood from the meanings of its separate words, but that has a separate meaning on its own as a whole phrase, okay? So when you fill in, you're going to write, let's see what you have, that has a separate what on its own? This is underlined the whole thing, but you're just going to write meaning, okay? In that blank, you're going to write meaning because it has a separate meaning. So you wouldn't be able to predict that meaning from the words on its own. So hit the hay, I'd have to know what that meant. And that means what, Alan? Hit the hay?
It means I go to sleep.
Go to sleep. Perfect. So I'm so tired, I'm going to hit the hay. I got to go. Okay? Perfect. So we're going to go, once we're done filling the blanks, give me the thumbs up and we'll move on to an example. Are we good? Okay, let's move on. Here we go. An example. Student. Okay, so the student says, Lily, can you read this to me? What does the student say? We'll have to sit, Lolly, yeah. Go ahead. Last night. Perfect. And Anthony, what does the teacher say?
Most definitely that is music to me.
Perfect. That is music to my ears. So the idiom is music to my ears, right? If you didn't know this meaning, you'd be a little bit confused. But music to my ears, the meaning is that's exactly what I wanted to hear. That's like very pleasing to me. That's exciting information that you did your homework, right? So here's the literal meaning, right? There's music in your ears, right? But the figurative meaning was, okay, she's telling the teacher something and she's pleased by it, all right? Perfect. So we're gonna move on to this one. All right, Marilyn, can you read what the teenager says?
I'm only applying to one college, USC. Really hope I get in.
Okay, only applying to one college, all right? So the parent, Ellen, what does the parent say?
You shouldn't put all your eggs in one basket.
Okay, so you shouldn't put all your eggs in one basket. So that's the idiom, all your eggs in one basket. Has anyone heard of that? No? Okay. So the meaning is putting all your hopes, money, or future in one thing. All right, so this guy, this is the figurative meaning. Actually, I think I swapped those. But basically, you have all your eggs in one basket, right? So it's a figure of speech, okay? And then what we mean by it, so this is swapped. The figurative meaning would be, okay, yeah, let's give all our money is going to be put towards USC, right? I'm only applying to USC, okay? And then the literal meaning of that would be putting all eggs in one basket. That's not what we meant, right? Okay? So here we go. Can you guess what the idiom, it's raining cats and dogs means?
It's raining hard.
It's raining hard. Perfect, all right? So put that on your paper. It says idiom, it's raining cats and dogs. Go ahead and write that meaning right next to it. It's raining hard or heavily, okay?
And
Go ahead and write it just right here on the side. Yeah. All right, perfect. Okay, so I want you to get into pairs. So how about Marilyn and Ellen together, Anthony and Sitlali, and you're gonna create a dialogue with this one. So do you see how we had the dialogue where the other one's kind of like the teacher says something and the student says the other? How about the character one says something and character two says another thing? But somewhere in there you're gonna have to write it's raining cats and dogs, okay?
Exactly, raining cats and dogs.
Yeah, so maybe the conversation is something like, it's raining really hard out there, and the other person says, yeah, it's raining cats and dogs, right? So it's something like it's putting in conversation, your meaning, literally it's raining really hard, but the way you're gonna say it is figurative language. So put that phrase in your language.
Can we put our names?
Sure, yeah, you can put your names. Who do you want the characters to be, right? You can create names. So you're gonna be working together, okay? So make sure that you're thinking together, okay, what's your dialogue gonna be? What's the character one gonna say? What's the character two gonna say? And someone, either character one or two, is gonna say, it's raining cats and dogs, all right? So we think it, and then we're gonna share out our answers. Yeah, so you're right here, and you're gonna do, okay, so character one's gonna say something, and then the other one is gonna respond with something, and they're gonna say this. It's raining cats and dogs. So what kind of scenario is going on? Kind of set the scene. Why would someone say it's raining cats and dogs? Because it's raining hard. So what's the conversation gonna be? If you're with your buddy outside, if you're with Sitlali outside, what kind of conversation would you be having where this would come up? And say, yeah, it's raining cats and dogs out there. So think about it. What are you gonna say?
Yeah.
So you guys use the idiom first, so then the other person's gonna respond.
And then go home and have cocoa. Then go home and have cocoa.
Talk with Anthony. Collaborate on this and see, okay, what could we say? What could our characters be saying to each other? Just think about a conversation outside at nutrition or lunch. What could be happening? Or it could be a teacher and a student, all right? It could be like, I can't go get my backpack, and then the teacher could be like, why not? And you say, because. Okay, so something like that, but maybe change it up a little bit, because that was my example. You gotta think about yours. Okay? Anthony, he needs your help. You guys collaborate.
Yeah.
All right, you guys. So what are your characters gonna be? Do you want one to be a teacher, one a student? Now, what do you think, Anthony? What should it be?
Two buddies.
Two buddies. All right, two friends. Okay, what's the first buddy gonna say? I wanna go home. Okay, do you like that? Perfect. Okay, write it down. Character one says, I wanna go home. Okay. Okay. And then talk with Anthony, and maybe you can think of what's the character two gonna say that includes this phrase, this idiom, it's raining cats and dogs.
Well, he says I want to go home, and then that person's gonna say, I know me too. It's cold.
Okay? So I wanna go home, and you could say, me too. And then our phrase, right? Okay?
Yeah.
Because that's the reason why they wanna go home, right, Anthony? That's what you were going for?
Yeah, 'cause it's raining.
It's raining so hard, it's raining cats and dogs, okay?